Welcome back, everybody. Here's a fun topic for you: how to change culture. A lot of times as we address the problems of agility or transformation, it's the culture that we believe holds us back. Now here's how it holds us back, because the truth is this: I can change your culture in 5 minutes. I can rewrite the agreements. I can ferret out and highlight bad attitudes, bad actions that don't serve us. I can create agreements on values and vision and purpose. Those things seem so hard, and yet they're so easy. All it requires is just a little bit of vision, just a little bit of will, just a desire to make things better. And it's so simple to create them. As always, it's never the problem that's complex. It's the way we choose to approach it that creates complexity, sometimes complexity that isn't even there. See, here's the first thing that we do wrong when we try to change a culture. We try to plan it and approve it, just like you would any other project. We see where we want to go, potentially. At least we know what's wrong. But the first thing that we do is try to plan it like some sort of big bang experiment. The minute we look at it that way, that we have to change the entire culture all at once and we have to do it perfectly right, or we'll never be given a second chance. When you look at it that way, you're probably going to stall before you even take off. You're inviting fear. You're inviting doubt and uncertainty. You're inviting everything that will trip you up and stop you on the journey to making your culture better. The second we see it, the second we visualize it, the first thing that we do is think about all of the people who will reject it. We'll think about all the reasons why we can't have this change. And we believe those things because we don't have the change yet. It seems obvious to do better. Anything that's toxic or not working or not productive or is costing us time, money, or people, we assume that if it could be made better, it would have been made better. But that's not true. It's just that there wasn't enough collective will to go, to face the resistance, to bring the courage and certainty that's required to make that change. So as we try to defer or procrastinate that difficult moment, that difficult realization, the pain of being rebellious and inviting transformation, we start planning. That's how we make ourselves feel better about the difficult road ahead, is that if I can map it out step by step, that somehow I can create certainty that whatever I choose to do is guaranteed to work because we've all visited and revised the plan. The problem is, and I keep saying this over and over, is that change implies an uncertain future. It implies that we've never done this before, so we don't know how to do it well. We might look to others and try to copy what they did, but deep down, we don't believe this change is possible for us because we've been struggling with this problem for a year, for 5 years, for 10 years, for our entire history. Here's the thing. Culture change requires, just like good software, continuous delivery of new value. So the most important thing to get right on day one is the inspiration, the desire to change, the will to change. Next, the implementation has got to be swift and small to get off the ground. It's got to be iterative. It's got to be, by the way, executed by passionate, driven, focused individuals. We know this from Agile. It's not about any team. It's about starting with the right team. See, it can't be left to people who are 50% convinced that this will work, people who are 50% convinced that this is even necessary. It has to be an obsession. It has to be done by groups of people who are so desperate to make this change, so certain that they can make this change, that they become unafraid of getting it wrong at first. They get unafraid of encountering opposition and unwilling minds. They're so certain that they know there's nothing that will come up that they can't handle, address, or navigate around. Small teams driving cultural change will be way more comfortable with experimentation and failure. So if their work doesn't catch fire, they're undaunted. They don't care. They realize that this is a long road no matter how you slice it. Do it agile, don't do it agile. This is going to be a big uphill push. What matters is the effort of change, the commitment to change, the daily exercise of change, not a specific output. We know this is going to be difficult. We know this is all uphill work. But if the leading cause of agile failure or transformative failure, especially around cultural or mindset change, is scaling it, then don't worry about scaling it on day one. What's most important is the internal certainty, the internal consistency, the discipline and the practice of keeping your foot down every day, of committing to small change each and every day, and never taking your foot off. You don't commit to making change once a week, once a month. This is every day. This is moving the dial piece by piece, demonstrating it within your own team of 8 people, 16 people, some small number, making the change, rejecting what doesn't work, and advancing what does until you build something so unstoppable, so unmistakable, so impossible to ignore that the rest of the organization can't ignore you. Don't be afraid of the resistance. Don't be afraid of someone poking at what you're doing and saying, "What you doing there? Who said you're allowed to do that? This doesn't work." People are going to try to stop you. When they try to stop you, you know you're doing something important. Do you get that? It's when you meet the resistance, it's when you meet the powerful opposition that you're doing something worthwhile. Change is supposed to be uncomfortable, or it wouldn't be called change. Doing what's habitual, doing what we've always done, is what's causing us the real pain in the first place. So changing it and breaking it will be about destroying, disassembling a habit that we're deeply attached to. So recognize that the pain is the job. The thing that we're called to do is to weather that storm. Because the change itself is not difficult, it's not complex. It's easy to see and it's easy to do. What's hard is bringing it to the outside world, one person at a time, one resistance at a time, one fear, one uncertainty at a time. That's the job. Guys, I hope this inspires you or helps you. You can reach out at badassagile.com or find me on Twitter at badass_agile and on Instagram at badassagile. I look forward to seeing you next time, and until then, stay badass.